There's a story we like to tell ourselves about people who cheat, that they're just broken, selfish, born that way. But when psychologists studied 500,000 people across 47 countries, they found something far more uncomfortable. It's not one type of person, it's 4 different forces colliding. Because cheating isn't only about sex. Psychologists split it into 3 types: sexual, emotional, and digital infidelity. And here's the twist. Emotional infidelity was reported more often than physical cheating. The secret hookup most people picture is actually the smaller half of the story. In fact, researchers have looked for a single cheater trait for decades, and they haven't found one. What they found instead were overlapping risk factors in the person, the relationship, and the situation. So, what does the evidence actually describe? 4 recurring profiles, not fixed types, but tendencies that often overlap. First, the dissatisfied, disconnected. This is the most common profile, not a bad person, but someone in a relationship that quietly eroded over time. Falling satisfaction, poor communication, emotional distance that built for months before anything happened. Then there's the unrestricted opportunistic. This person isn't necessarily unhappy at home. They're just wired toward novelty, more comfortable separating sex from commitment. Here, opportunity isn't a response to deprivation, it's the deciding factor on its own. Next, the entitled antagonistic, higher in narcissistic or manipulative traits, minimizing the weight of betrayal. Research suggests this is actually the smallest group, but the most damaging, because remorse is often weakest here. And finally, the dysregulated attachment type, torn between craving closeness and fearing it. Under stress, insecurity pushes them toward outside reassurance. More conflicted than cold. Of course, real people rarely fit one box perfectly. These profiles overlap. Now, we tend to assume people only cheat when the relationship is already falling apart, and often it is declining beforehand. But one study of affair site users found many described their primary relationship as genuinely fine, with very little remorse. So some people cheat not out of pain, but out of opportunity or novelty. Which means, were they unhappy isn't always the right question. So, here's where the numbers land. Across the largest recent meta-analysis, roughly 17.5% reported sexual infidelity, at 27% emotional, and 18.4% digital. But those numbers swing hugely by country, by survey method, and by whether people feel anonymous. There's no single global cheating rate, only context. So why do people cheat? Not because they're a different species of human, but because of who they are, what their relationship became, and what opportunity they were placed in. Remove any one piece, and a lot of affairs simply never happen. And that's not an excuse, it's an explanation. And understanding why doesn't mean approving of it. It means actually being able to prevent it, or heal from it.